Wanted to start actually with the same thing that we were talking a little bit about earlier, which is the parasocials of it all. Because there was stuff that came out and TV Deets was all over it. Kenya Moore wrote, worst housewife ever. Everything is made up to keep her leftover peach.
Oof.
Okay.
Who said canned peach? Who said that?
Here we go again. The canned peach at Marlo, talking out both sides of her neck, always behind my back, but never to my face. I don't respect that. You need to worry about getting that nasty hat cough you've had for the past 2 years checked out.
Yikes.
Okay. Becca on Twitter said Candy probably could have been more sympathetic, but Marlo also could have just called Candy directly and told her that her feelings were hurt as soon as it happened. Using it for a storyline is weird. And Candy said, it's so weird.
Go ahead.
Drew Sidora, demanding at Kenya Moore to kick her daughter out. Really? Same mom tea, different day.
Wow. I mean, she's getting a lot of pushback. I'm going to say, I haven't really enjoyed Marlo since she's had a peach. I loved her before.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to say that. I really liked her as a friend. I don't know. I like her right now just as much as I liked that event Kenya took everyone to, that I was like, what the hell is happening? This is not a charity event, but this is what Kenya does. She talks things up. Yeah. And she talks them up so high, and it's always like this. And then something happens to overshadow this. I'm really curious to see, we see in the next episode that Kenya gets sick and that she has to go in an ambulance and be driven. I'm like, what? I hope this is something, I don't hope this is something that is affecting her health, but I hope it's real. Or are you just embarrassed about how bad that charity event was?
Marlo Hampton said, here y'all go. Don't twist the narrative. I was explaining how a new friend was doing me a favor in comparison to Candy, a friend of 15 plus years, who has only done for me when it benefited her. Candy ain't no damn lawyer. I know she can't get my record expunged. Come on now. I mean, it does look bad. It looks like, okay, well, Candy's not a good. And also, if this happened 2 years ago, I completely understand that Marlo is hurt because she lost her nephew to gun violence. I get that. I never want to sit there and say it's been 2 years. People will say it's been 2 years, but you can't put a time stamp on something like that. However, it is strange, though, that it would all of a sudden now be used as a storyline when it seems like her and Candy are not necessarily getting along. And you want this situation that happened at Old Lady Gang where there was a shooting. She wants it to be brought up so bad because she feels like Candy does not have to talk about certain things. And we deal with that with Kyle on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We've dealt with that with Teresa on Real Housewives of New Jersey. And there are some people who the other cast members feel like they get special leeway. Like, you have all these spinoffs. You don't have to talk about anything. And Candy probably doesn't want to talk about it because she doesn't want her business to be completely associated. Like She by Sheree said, we don't know if we're going to Old Lady Gang for biscuits or bullets. Like, she doesn't want her business that they've worked their asses off for to be associated by one idiot's mistake of walking in and pulling a trigger.
Other people's actions. And I agree. But I'm going to have to say, though, and I don't know how many people will agree with me or not, and it's okay if you don't. And I saw it in the live chat, and I was going to say this too. It really has not been the same without NeNe. And honestly, Beverly Hills has never really been the same without LVP. That is an opinion. I am biased when it comes to LVP. I will say it. But there has been just some kind of, if you go back and watch the old episodes of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, when they replay them on Bravo all day, I'm so entertained, and I've already watched these. And I'm like, this is great. This is great television. Where is that right now? We don't need another booty shake-off contest that, that Kenya's putting together, another piss poor trip like this trip. I really, or Jamaica was such a disappointing trip last season, because we didn't really get to enjoy it. So I don't know. Something's missing. Something is missing.
Brian's saying bring Kim back to Atlanta.
I mean, I'm not going to say no to that because of everything that Kim and Croy Kim is going through right now. Would this be the opportunity to kind of twist things up, whether you like her or not,
Yeah. Okay. Well, we do know that Kenya has a new man that she's excited about, and his name is Roy, even though she is still trying to battle her divorce. But while battling her divorce, we have Marlo, who is banging down her hotel door room, and she's like, "What the hell is wrong with you? I have my daughter in this room." And she's like, "Well, then make your daughter go to another room. That's not fair." And I'm like, "Oh, Marlo." At this point, Andy Cohen had to pull Marlo aside last season, and he told her that you're coming in like an AK-47, like you're firing off at everybody. Those were his words. And I think that she probably toned it down last season towards the end, reeled it back in, and then she went back into this season like completely forgetting what Andy said because her daughter is in the room. Like, even if you want her to have to film right now, one, she doesn't have to film that late at night. And two, her daughter's in the room. You're kicking the door. The girl is like, she's so little. She doesn't know that that's your castmate. She might think that that's somebody like crazy banging on the door. And three, she is now right now going through custody and all of the other things with Mark, or maybe she put a button on that. But she's still dealing with having to film with her daughter, get special permissions, and then it's going to be all over the show where one of her castmates is kicking down the door of her hotel room with her daughter in the room.
In defense of the ladies knocking like Sanya, everyone took turns knocking on the door.
Not kicking.
Not kicking. Well, someone else kicked. Someone kicked the door. Was it Manetta?
I don't know.
Someone kicked the door first, but no one knew that Brooklyn was in the room.
Right.
But you got that really honest Kenya coming to the door. But after that, it's like, leave it alone. Marlo didn't have to carry it on. Oh, sorry, didn't know your daughter was in there. Let's step away. Let's be adults. But we didn't get that. We got,
And getting kicked out of that event really honestly was so embarrassing, but
embarrassing. So embarrassing for production. So embarrassing for the ladies. Really embarrassing for Kenya. But Kenya likes to play things off. Like, I like Kenya, but she really does. Like, when it doesn't work out her way, she loves to play it off like it's not her fault.
I mean, she is kind of the queen of playing things off like they're not her fault.
Twirl. Yes.
Twirl.
And it works. I love watching her.
Also, the drama with Sanya Richards-Ross and her family. Like, she's telling her family that her husband is like, okay, well, we just want to be the Ross family. And her daughter or her sister is like, okay, cool, good for you. And then her brother-in-law ups and quits the next day after this information comes out. I'm like, she's literally housed you guys. She gave you a job. She's trying to spread the wealth and the love over here, and you're pissed off because she wants her house back to herself. And her sister's like, well, listen, I don't know. She doesn't realize, like, when we're not here or when she's not here and, they're gone, the thing is we take after Deuce. Like, we watch him. So we're constantly watching him and helping her. But that's for her to figure out. Like, maybe she wants
100%. Listen, sometimes it's you don't know what you had until it's gone. And maybe this is one of those moments, but that is really up for Sanya and Ross to decide. You know, like, it really is. And I felt like, I don't know, it works different. I have a lot of friends who have multi-generational homes. And it works, one day we might have a multi-generational home with our mom, with one of our moms or both of our moms. So I can see how it works, but I can see how they would want their space too. But I did see in Sanya's mom's face and in her sister's face that kind of look of disappointment. But this is also someone, and I agree with Sanya too. She's been supporting you guys for so long, but it gets to a point where it's almost expected. And
then your brother-in-law, his ass can't even give you a 2 weeks notice. You're going to up and quit on her the night. Like, you see the list, the to-do list. She just went and said there's so much to do. You can't even give 2 weeks. You up and quit while living in the same damn house that they're paying the bills for?
Right. That's what I was saying. I would be afraid to quit. Like, quit after you find your new place where you're going to live.